and she said, Stephanie, I need you to promise me something. I said, anything, And she said, I want you to write your stories your way with your words.
Oh,
Promise me that. And I've kept my word. Now for a while there I hadn't, because I had some, and this will help others along the way. I had a relative kind of discourage me, and I let them discourage me. And you need to get a sensible job. You don't need to be worried about that.
yeah.
And or who do you think you are? Add in the author that you like. You just need to focus on something sensible, and so I did.
I'm going to introduce you to Stephanie Freeman.
Good evening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to also thank you. I know it's like a love fest starting this off, but I also want to thank you for being one of our featured authors for the Black History Month Literary Weekend. This is going to be your first time participating in this program, but I'm going to tell you, you're in for a treat. The authors are amazing. The events are amazing. And I don't know if you've heard, but we've already reached capacity for our first two events.
Wow.
I had to actually add a few
Congratulations.
more tickets. Yes, I'm excited. So
I am too.
we still have tickets available for the Ivory and Cream Affair. Now, what that one is that's our literary jazz brunch. So we're going to have a live band. We're going to have a celebrity guest host. We're going to have a three-course meal. We're of course going to meet the authors. And there are also some treats that I have for y'all in store, but I don't want to tell y'all just yet because it's going to be a surprise, and I want y'all to be shocked.
Oh my. Because they're about to propose to someone. What do you
Right.
see? So I tell all of my students that are writing, walk into the scene. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you experience? You're looking around and our people are angry. Does it look like there's going to be a huge hit that goes on and you're caught in the melee? Because you can walk in and you can experience a vibe, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I need to be here. And you
Mm,
try to convey that in your writing. You try to take your students or readers or anyone that's interested in the book, you take them into the scene and you use all of your senses. What are you hearing? Is someone walking around near the tables playing the violin? Are they playing Pavarotti? You know, are they playing, I don't know, Tupac Shakur? It could be any number of things. But you walk into the experience and then you try to convey that in your writing. So that's what I do.
now, see, I'm glad that you described that because a lot of times we'll say things like, "My my characters introduce themselves to me," or "I walk into a scene." But a person who may not have a writing background or who may be new to writing doesn't exactly know what that means because they're like, "What do you mean the character walked up to you? That's not a real person. How did they do that?"
Exactly. And then they're sort of giving you the side eye, like, okay, are you nuts? And no, I promise you I'm not. But yeah, my characters, they do that. And I wouldn't say all of them do that. I mean, some of them are definitely something that I've conjured, but there are some characters that really just stick out to me. I was driving home from my job in Virginia, my day job,
Mm-hmm.
and I had this character hop into my seat, my passenger seat,
Oh,
and they started very clearly. And of course, the person wasn't there, but yet I knew exactly what they looked like. I knew exactly, by the time I got back to where I live in Pennsylvania, talk about road trips. Um, the character had pretty much told me their story, and I'm stumbling over my cat to get to my computer because I needed to write this down. And they started with something as simple as, I am not one or the other.
oh,
Names are petty and minor fit no how. It's enough that I exist. Profound and profane is good enough for me. I am perfect in my otherness. And I'm like, oh my God, so yeah. So my
uh,
characters come to me like that, and I end up
tell
building a
me.
world.
tell me you have turned your books into audiobooks and that you're the
Yeah,
one reading them.
not yet, but I'm hoping that will be something that happens because I mean, I've been a teacher all of my life in different iterations, and I was the story lady, so I didn't mind doing the voices. And here I am, umpteen years later, in a few moons and a couple of cows, um, and I still do the voices, but my characters are they're not as pleasant as
Mm.
you know. I don't know. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. It's not that, but yeah. But I thoroughly enjoy doing the voices, and I would love to. I would love to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you writing thrillers and with you making your voice sound like that. I don't know if you saw Mark Bolshajoy's comment that accent. And I think he said it was next level. I just think that would be amazing for
Oh,
you to do an audiobook. I would be all in it. I mean, because I listen to audiobooks more than I read books just because of my schedule. And I do a lot of driving.
mhm.
And sometimes when the book is so good, even when I've gotten where I'm going, I'll sit in the car because I need to finish that chapter. I really feel like if I were to listen to your books on audio, that would be that time where I would not get out of the car because I would need to wait. I would need to wait until I got to the end of that chapter. And if that chapter was good, I might stay for another one.
Well, thank you very much.
Now, that is awesome. So you said you started writing in 2014?
Yes. Well, I've been writing all along since the
Well,
age of
yeah, since you
15.
were 13.
Yes. And I really decided around 2014, that's when I was published the first time. But I've been
Okay.
writing all along. And I have a shoebox. Well, actually, I have a couple of shoe boxes with unpublished stories. So I'll reach in, and I'll remember where I was with that story, and I'll refine it and dust off the cobwebs and everything. And then
Hmm.
I have stories that sort of explode in my head, and I'm like, okay, I need to write this now. So yes, I've been writing for a long time, but I didn't get published until 2014.
Okay. So what made you decide to finally take that next step to say, okay, I've been writing for a while, but now it's time to actually move forward with being an author?
My mom,
Mm.
my mom, she'd been very sick for a long time, and she was transitioning. And we'd always been talking about my writing books, potentially going into journalism, things of that nature. And she said, Stephanie, I need you to promise me something. I said, anything. And she said, I want you to write your stories your way with your words.
Oh,
Promise me that. And I've kept my word. Now for a while there I hadn't, because I had some, and this will help others along the way. I had a relative kind of discourage me, and I let them discourage me. And you need to get a sensible job. You don't need to be worried about that.
yeah.
And or who do you think you are? Add in the author that you like. You just need to focus on something sensible. And so I did. And for a long time I'd forgotten the promise that I made to my mother.
Mm.
And then, but I was still writing stories and tucking them in that shoebox under my bed like it was a diary or something. And then it occurred to me. It sort of rushed back into the forefront of my mind. You made a promise, and I'm not a person that breaks a promise. And that was one of the last things she asked me to do. So I've been writing and publishing ever since.
Wow.
So if you
That's
notice
beautiful.
in the front of all of my books, you'll see for Dolores Ann Wilkes Freeman, I kept my word. So for anyone that's out there and they're getting discouraged or people are laughing at them saying, hey, you're never going to make it, you need to stick to your day job, don't listen to them.
Amen.
You know
I,
what's in your heart, what's on your
yeah,
heart, write it. Write it your way with your words. Somebody's
that's
out there waiting
beautiful.
for your book. It is so important because, when you encourage them, it's like they already believe they have wings. You're just giving them that that boost.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, it's important, and it builds on their self-esteem. And there's so many children that, for whatever reason, their self-esteem is in the dumper
Mm.
because life be life, and for lack of better words,
Yes.
and they're in school, and they have this gift, and they try to share it with someone, and then somebody snatches it and breaks it, or they
Mhm.
say whatever they say that's damaging, and then they think, maybe I can't, I won't, and it colors everything they do. So the more encouragement you give a child, even if all they want to do is be a superhero for that phase,
Yes.
because not all of us want to leap off of a roof wearing a cape. Ask me about that one. But they learn, and the more we encourage them, it has a ripple effect on everything that they do. So.
Absolutely.